In this video, I'm going to show you how to add your domain to Amplify. The first thing we need to do is understand the different types of domains that can be added to Amplify. There are three main categories. First of all, you have email domains. Second of all, you have a branded domain, or what is commonly called a link domain. And then finally, you have your funnel or website domains, which is where you would host funnel pages, or if you have full website built out in Amplify, that's where that would live as well. The most common starting point is to set up your email domain. Now, what is recommended is to set up what is known as a subdomain for your email records. So for instance, if your domain is example.com, then you would add a subdomain, which would be mail.example.com. And that is what you would be sending and receiving email to and from through the system in Amplify. This way, it does not mess up any of your existing email settings. So to create this type of domain, what you need to do is go into the platform, go to settings, look for email services, and you'll see this notification that says boost your email deliverability, create a dedicated domain. That's what we want to do. You'll see that if you don't do this, you can still send and receive emails, although you'll be using one of Amplify's default sending and receiving domains, which is mail.securedmailings.com or a variation of that. Now this will work, but for best deliverability and to build a better reputation on your domain, we recommend replacing this as soon as possible with your own domain using this process. So we're going to click create dedicated domain, and we're going to type in the subdomain and then a dot and then your full domain right here. Now that subdomain can be whatever you want. You can see here in the example, they mention LC for lead connector, but what I like to use is mail. So if that's not already in use, then I would recommend just going ahead and putting in mail and then put a dot and then put your domain. So for this demo account, it's pslanswers.com. And there we go. That's your sending domain for email. We're going to click add and verify, and then you'll see a page like this. Now, if you're using a platform such as Cloudflare or GoDaddy or another provider that has a one-click integration with Amplify, then this process is going to be very easy because you just need to log into that platform and then Amplify will add the records that you need automatically. But if you don't have that type of integration, or if you're using a platform that does not connect with one click to Amplify, then you're going to want to add record manually, and then you'll have to copy and paste the records over. So we're going to do it that way just because that's the more difficult process and it will accommodate any use case, even if you're not using Cloudflare or GoDaddy. So I'm going to click on add record manually, and these are the records I need to add to my DNS records where I am hosting my domain, pslanswers.com. So let me go do that real quick. Okay, as you can see here, I've added the records. Now just a few things to point out. If you're using a platform like Cloudflare that offers a proxy, make sure the proxy is disabled. So in this case, you want the cloud to be gray. And also for MX records, it's not explicitly stated, but these should be a priority of 10. So now that I've added all 5 records to my DNS provider, I'm going to click verify records. Now, one thing you'll notice after you do this is that there's usually one record down here that was not in the original list, but you'll just need to add this one as well, and then you'll be able to have a verified status for everything. So let's do that one real quick. Now that I've added that last record, I'm going to click verify domain one more time. Now, sometimes you have to go back and forth to verify the domain to make sure that you get a green status where everything shows as verified. Sometimes it can take up to 24 hours, but from what I've seen, it usually happens within a few minutes. So if you're getting something like this, just give it a few minutes, then come back and click verify now. Then you'll come back to this screen. And again, we're going to click verify domain to try to verify this last record. And there we go. This is what we're looking for. We have a dedicated domain with a subdomain off of our main domain. And then we have this green indicator of SSL issued. That means everything is good to go as far as our custom email domain is concerned. As far as the other places we can add domains in the system, the second thing we want to do is add our branded domain or link domain. You'll do that under settings and business profile. And if we scroll down, we'll see branded domain. So this is used for anything that is a link that is generated from the system. So the most common place you'll see this URL is if you are using calendar. If you share a calendar, you want it to have your domain in it. That's going to increase credibility, and it will also help with email deliverability since your emails will contain links back to your main domain. So what I like to use for this format is link.domain. and then your actual domain. So in my case, it would be pslanswers.com. Now, you don't have to use a link. You can use whatever you want. But again, I just like to use a link because it's simple. And when I look at it, I know that this was a branded link domain that is used for links throughout the system. If I click add domain, you'll notice again, I have the option of continuing if I'm using a platform like Cloudflare or GoDaddy, where there'll be that one-click option to add the record. But in this case, I'm just going to add it manually so that it covers most use cases. For this, all we're adding is one CNAME record with a host value of a link and then a value of brand.ludicrous.cloud. So I'm going to copy this over. And again, we want to turn off the proxy. I'm going to put in link. We're going to copy the value, save it. There we go. We have a DNS only record, which is a CNAME with the name link and the content of brand.ludicrous.cloud. We'll come back here and give it about 10 seconds, then we'll click verify records. Then if everything looks good here, just click update information to lock in these changes. And there you have it. We now have the branded domain set up. And then finally, we want to set up a funnel domain. So we're going to click under domains and URL redirects in settings. And if we scroll down, we should see the domain we already started working on, which is pslanswers.com. You can see we have a mail domain set up. But what we're going to do is click manage, and we're going to connect a funnel website, store, blog, or webinar. So we'll click connect. And again, we're using that same root domain, but in this case, we're adding a subdomain. Now I like to use pages, but again, you can use whatever you want as long as it's not already in use. So obviously you can't use mail or you can't use link, but some common options are go, get, try, info, LP, whatever you want really. But just to make it easy, I'm going to go with pages.pslanswers.com. So again, you would replace pslanswers.com with your domain. We're going to click continue. And again, this is just one record. It's a CNAME with a host of pages and a required value of sites.ludicrous.cloud. So I'm going to copy this over. We're going to turn off the proxy and click save. We'll give it about 10 seconds. Then we will verify this record. And it looks like everything is working. Now we do need to link it to a funnel. It's not important which one you're linking it to for now. We just want to do this so that we can finish this step. And there you have it. We now have pages, which is our subdomain for funnels. We have mail, which is the subdomain for email. And although it's not shown here, we also have under the business profile in settings, a branded domain of link.pslanswers.com. If you don't see it here, sometimes it does not save. So you just have to type it in again and click update information. If we refresh the business settings page, we now see the branded domain is saved and we are good to go. And that is how you connect your domain to Amplify.